say anything further today, I just want to say thank you so much for all of your comments that you left in our past couple of videos. It really brought joy to us, and we really enjoy reading such empathetic and compassionate comments. We felt very loved, so thank you so much for that, and we really appreciate it. Today, I'm going to be talking about the first trimester of pregnancy. I'm now in my second trimester. For those of you who don't know, I had a severe, debilitating chronic illness for many years, and through much trial, error, research, involving myself in the chronic illness community, talking to professionals from all ends of the spectrum in the health industry, the health and wellness industry, and coming to solutions, and then realizing that there was more to it and digging deeper and deeper. I finally was able to equip myself to become my own healer, and here I am today, pregnant and thriving and really enjoying it. However, I will say that I was scared that maybe some of the symptoms would come creeping back during the pregnancy, or that something would be triggered from the pregnancy. But with my newfound knowledge and skills, I know that whatever comes my way, I am able to tackle. I am now my own healer. I can rely on myself, and I'm able to really nurture myself through things. Thankfully, that hasn't really been needed much, because it's actually been a really enjoyable experience. So I'm really grateful for that. And I hope that that's really encouraging for people who are finding themselves in a really scary and frustrating position currently. So I'm hoping that this video gives you some courage and some hope. And for all the pregnant people out there that maybe don't have chronic illness and have stumbled across this video, I hope that this can help to get you through, knowing that somebody who has experienced severe debilitating symptoms has come through on the other side and is able to really enjoy life and enjoy these experiences. So I'm going to go to my notes, because I actually made notes throughout the first trimester, and actually since before I found out I was pregnant, because there were some signs there as well that I wanted to take note of. So I'm going to refer to my notes. So I'm sorry if I look down or anything like that during the video. So I'm actually going to do a separate video on the clues that told me that I might be pregnant before I actually found out that I was for sure pregnant. So I'll do a separate video on that. So for this video, I'm just going to start with the notes where I found out that I was pregnant and what I experienced from then onwards. I'm also going to do a separate video on comparing chronic illness symptoms with pregnancy symptoms, because sometimes they overlap, like the nausea and the fatigue and things like that. And it's so funny that people use the word fatigue for pregnancy, because it's really nothing like chronic illness fatigue. But I understand people who haven't experienced that type of fatigue. Pregnancy may seem like utter exhaustion and fatigue, but we know that it's a little bit different. So I was actually pleasantly surprised by pregnancy fatigue, which is actually just tiredness and sleepiness, but not to minimize it for people who are really struggling, because I understand, if you've been through chronic illness, that there's a whole new level and layer to it. And if you've been healthy, in your life and you're pregnant, then yes, it might feel debilitating. So I want to acknowledge that. But for all the chronic illness warriors out there, there's nothing really to be stressed about in terms of pregnancy. It's not that type of fatigue. I just wanted to put that out there. All right, so once I found out that I was pregnant, these are the first symptoms that came to me. And I think the very first one is mostly because of the excitement. So I don't know if you watched our pregnancy announcement video where I told my husband, Ross, that I was pregnant. I surprised him. And obviously it was filled with a lot of excitement, a lot of adrenaline. So I couldn't sleep for, I think, a few days after that. I think I only got a few hours in, and I was exhausted and really tired. So I don't really know if that's a pregnancy symptom or just like a nervous system thing where I was just so excited. But that was one of my first experiences. Then the next symptom I actually still have to this day in my second trimester, but it's like a sharp pain in the lower pelvic area, especially if you move quickly or you get up too quickly. It's like a stabbing pain over there. I think it's got something to do with the hormones loosening the joints. That's what the doctor explained to me. She said because the pregnancy hormones like relax the muscles and so the joints become looser. So you've got to just move very slowly, and if you get up too quickly, it like takes your breath away. It like stabs you. Nothing too severe or extreme. It like lasts 1 second and then it goes away, but it can be a bit shocking. So it's good to just be very gentle and move slowly and just, listen to your body. Then the next symptom is not really a symptom, it's actually a perk. And I put a note there that it happened at 4 weeks. And what I noticed is that my food tolerances became less. I could actually eat more foods that I wasn't able to before. So I was able to eat things like dairy and gluten and not react to it and not feel like totally tired or nauseous or brain foggy or anything like that. Which I must say, it doesn't happen as much nowadays, even before I was pregnant anyway, but I do still try to avoid those foods just to maintain and just to like give my body what it really needs, to maintain health and to keep functioning in an optimal way. But I did notice that my food intolerances got less, and it's tempting, I have to say, when you have less food intolerances, it's very tempting to go and, especially with pregnancy cravings, it's tempting to go and have a chocolate or something like that, The next symptom that I wrote down, I actually don't remember. I don't remember having it. It must have lasted very short, but it said that I had lower back pain and aching in my legs. I actually kind of remember the aching in my legs when I was trying to sleep. I remember feeling achy legs, and sometimes I still get it, like achy legs. But yeah, I don't really remember why I wrote that. And then after that, I said that my heart was racing and pounding quite a bit. And I think that was also from the excitement because we were keeping the secret. So we're keeping the secret from our family, and it's just, it's a lot to take in. So I think that was also from the excitement. But something that I want to say is that now with my new like tools and skills and way of living and the things that I've learned and all the knowledge and the somatic experiencing and all that really good stuff in life, healing, well-being stuff, I can cope with that. If my nervous system is like a bit overwhelmed or triggered by excitement or nerves or something like that, and my heart's pumping or racing or palpitating a bit, I'm actually able to regulate. I'm able to cope. I'm able to come down. I'm able to not remain in that state, So sometimes it's a little bit out of our control because our system has to do what it has to do, but I'm able to let it without the fear. And I think that a lot of the time, the fear is what's the worst part. So I'm able to do that, and I'm just very grateful for that, and really grateful to my healers and teachers and all the people out there that are sharing the information and tools have helped me get to that point. So it's really a new way of life. So I wanted to share that if you have a chronic illness and you want to be pregnant in the future, I mean, you might get symptoms that for you right now are very scary, but it will be a different experience, dealing with those symptoms, and even the sensation will be a different experience. Hard to explain, but it is something that I've lived through, so I can share, and hopefully you'll understand it eventually. That is my hope for actually every single person who is currently suffering. The next symptom that I put was extra mucus. Lovely. So I think that I don't need to explain that. And then the next thing that I put is that my sleep has regulated amazingly. And that was in the first trimester. And I said I had become an early bird. I was able to wake up early and fall asleep easily. And I'm happy to report that that is still the case in the second trimester. So I still fall asleep really easily. And yeah, I wake up pretty early. So, I mean, early for me. So, Really happy about that, really grateful. And I put in my notes, my sleep has regulated amazingly. So yeah, I think I was feeling happy. Then I said that my legs felt like water balloons, and I don't fully remember that. I remember I was bloated in general in the beginning, like very bloated. I still am a bit, but in the beginning especially. I'm not talking about my stomach or anything, I mean like water bloating. And I think my legs, if I like think back, I think they just felt very heavy and swollen. So, and that is actually something that I do get naturally. So it's probably something that was just enhanced with the extra hormones. And then I made a note about the fatigue and I put it in inverted commas and I said, it's actually just tiredness. It's not chronic illness fatigue. I said, this is very clearly a pregnancy tiredness, which, I mean, I will do a video where I talk about the differences, but in short, it's more of like a sleepiness. So you're not like tired and wired, and you don't feel like exhaustion to the soul and to the bone and like in the muscle. No, like you feel your energy going down and you feel like, okay, I need to slow down. I need to take a nap. I need to sleep. And then you actually can sleep. Amazing. You actually do fall asleep. So, and I obviously speak for myself. I should have made a disclaimer in the beginning. Everybody is different. This is just my experience. So I'm just talking about my experience, but that has been the case for me, and I am not naturally a good sleeper. Maybe I am these days. I hope to God that this is something that lasts. But, you know, in the upcoming year, in the past years, let's put it that way, if we take an average in the past like decade, and we say on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good, 1 being terrible, I would put my sleeping on a 1. So, but in the recent, like I would say in the past year, it's really improved to maybe like a 7. So, and sometimes even, you know, 8. So, I do go through some rough patches when I'm going through some dysregulation. So if there's extra stress or extra excitement, I go through some rough patches. But during pregnancy, sleeping has been so much easier. I don't know if this is something to do with the hormones, I'm sure it is, but it's just been so much easier, and that's a blessing. So you do feel tired, but it's like kind of a relaxing tired, I'll say, and then you can sleep. So it's really not that much of a problem. I can imagine if you're working, it's pretty hard. You know, if you have to stay at work or you're doing like physical work or something, I can imagine that's pretty hard to get through the day. But I mean, when you get home, you can sleep. Hopefully you have some help. So, you know, not to discount it. I'm sure for some people it's really a struggle. And then from this point on in my notes, I put dates. So I found out that I was pregnant on the 14th of February. And the next date that I put down, or the first date that I put down, is the 22nd of February. So I said that on the 22nd of February, I had a headache, I had dizziness and an urge to lay down. I had a cold sore pop up. And I put in the notes here, I literally can't remember the last time I had a cold sore. Like, I never get cold sores. So that was strange. I actually do remember feeling dizzy and needing to lie down. That still comes every now and then. I think it's got to do with the blood pressure. You know, your blood pressure goes low. So that does still come every now and then, but it's manageable. It's not something that's like scary or anything. And when you do lie down or sit down, it does regulate, like it gets better. Okay, then this is when things get interesting. So the 28th of February is the next date. And this is when I did a test to see if I have a UTI. So they test you to see if you have like a bladder infection or anything. And they did find that I had a bladder infection. So they gave me an antibiotic, but it was just 1 dose. So you just take 1 dose. So I just did it, you know, I was just like, let's just be safe. Let's just do it. Usually I would be a little bit against it, but I did it and it cleared up. So I took that 1 dose of antibiotics. And then I said that we ordered a takeaway and got food poisoning. And I remember this very clearly. We ordered a takeaway and Ross and I, we both got like extremely sore stomachs. And I felt like so nauseous, like so sick and in so much pain. And from then onwards, the morning sickness began. So that whole week I was feeling nauseous. It's not unbearably nauseous. It's just a really feeling. It's just like you just feel like you don't want to eat anything. You feel like just no appetite, and just I didn't vomit. So I guess when I say you, I mean I just felt almost like I had eaten too much at all times. You know, when you get that nauseous feeling after you've eaten, that's how I felt, like stuffed kind of. I also said that I felt some nerve symptoms in my back, and I think by nerve symptoms I meant like some electricity, like I wanted to stretch and it just felt like uncomfortable in the back, and I think that's from things expanding, you know, and shifting. So I said that I felt that. Okay, and then I said on the 4th of March I was 6 weeks and 5 days pregnant, and I said the pregnancy train has hit! Exclamation, exclamation. And I said that day I woke up tired, stiff muscles, heavy body, hard to walk, chills, and then overheating. Oh, I remember that was a symptom. I used to get like really cold and then feel hot. So I had like a fever kind of thing. Apparently it's normal. Fuzzy head, no energy, but not in a Lyme type of way. So it wasn't like in the chronic illness way. It was very clearly a pregnancy thing. I said I was feeling weak and shaky and I didn't want to eat, but I was eating for energy and nutrition. So I was still eating. And then I said that I had nausea, but it's not too extreme, and I just feel kind of ill in a poisoned kind of way. And then I said, I'm wondering how much the antibiotics have to do with that. And actually, that's a pretty good point. So I'm like talking to myself there, but the antibiotics could have had something to do with that as well. You know, antibiotics, they are chemicals. It's not something that is like healthy for your body. So, and my body is not actually very used to medication. I'm not taking medication at the moment. So, and hopefully for a very long time. So it could have been an after effect of the antibiotics, or that could have been a part of it, you know. I also said that my eyes were burning. I don't know, I don't remember that, but I said that my eyes were burning. I think I meant in like a tired way, but sometimes I know what I meant by that, because sometimes when I'm really not feeling well, I get like this burning sensation in my eyes, and I know that's like a reaction of my body. So yeah, interesting. The next date is the 10th of March, which is actually my birthday. And I said that I was napping every day now, and that I had a headache and just a feeling. And that feeling I still get, you know, to this day, not all the time, but there are days where I just feel And that's something that I wanted to say about pregnancy symptoms, is that one day you might have like an off day, and then the next day it's like gone. So it's like a day-to-day thing, which is actually very encouraging, because you know that when you go through a bout, that it's going to go away. It's not going to last. And that's something that is so different to chronic illness, and something that's it makes it so much more manageable than chronic illness, because you know, oh, this is not going to last for a long time. At least for me, I caught on that it was like a thing that came and went. It was just different all the time. And in between there, you get like some really pleasant moments, so you get a break, you know. So I think that's something to also encourage and keep in mind. Okay, then I put down that I'm having some like really intense cravings, and I was craving red meat. I put down there, I remember that, and I still crave red meat. For some reason, I just wanted to eat red meat. Like, it was intense, like very intense. And it's so interesting the way the body actually really does crave things. Like, I always used to think, oh, you know, pregnancy cravings, like maybe you can like get away with not satisfying the craving, but no, this is something where you have to satisfy the craving. It's like a thirst. That's the best way I can describe it. When you're thirsty, like you have to drink or it will stay there. Pregnancy cravings, it's a very real thing. It's very strong, and you've got to satisfy it. So I was craving red meat, I was craving fruit, specifically mangoes, but just fruit in general also. Oh, and I remember in the beginning, I just my notes just reminded me I was also craving nachos, which is like so weird. Like I don't really eat nachos ever actually, and I was craving nachos. Very strange. I wanted fully loaded nachos, you know, like the whole shebang. The next date that I put down was the 18th of March, and I said that I had tiredness and that I felt like I just needed to stretch out my back and my body, which is something that actually really helps. So you feel almost like the tiredness, I think, is a part of it, but you feel like your body is, it's like stale. You feel like your body is not fresh, it's stale, and like just, oh, it's not a good feeling. And if you stretch, it actually really helps. So when I stretch, like it's the last thing that I wanted to do is like go for a walk and get moving and stretch. But when you do that, it actually really helps you. And I also said that I was starting to get like quite a low mood with the tiredness. So obviously there was something hormonal going on there. Didn't last for very long. And that I was having very vivid dreams. I actually still have some vivid dreams some nights, but I think at this point I was, you know, nightly having a lot of very vivid dreams. So obviously this was like a peak in the hormones at this point. And I also put that I was sweating a lot and letting off some toxic smells, which also could be hormonal, but I could have also just been detoxing, you know, my body doing what it needs to do. So I said that I was sweating a lot, and I actually remember being a little bit worried about that. I remember thinking like, oh my gosh, have I been eating something toxic? Like maybe I'm taking the cravings too far or something like that, but no, it went away. And then the next day, the 19th of March, I said that I was feeling really sick, breathless, constipated, uncomfortable, dizzy, tired, nauseous, and not able to move much. So, and then I also said generally just a stale feeling inside, blah. That's what I put on there. But that must have lasted one day. I don't remember that. I don't remember actually like really suffering, but I do remember in the beginning I spent like half a day in bed every now and then because I was feeling like just ugh. But it didn't last. It's not something that's stuck in my memory. It's not something that I think of as like, oh wow, I suffered or anything like that. So I don't think it was like unbearable. And then lastly, I said at like 12 and 13 weeks, I had a lot of gas. I was hiccuping a lot, and that my appetite came back and I was able to eat more and I wanted to eat more, and I wasn't sleeping as much. And actually I would say that's the same. So nowadays in the second trimester, it's basically, this period is like a gassy period, a hiccupy period. I make the weirdest noises, like in the middle of a conversation. It's actually embarrassing. Like if I'm in public, even if I'm in the middle of a conversation, I'll be like, ugh, and I'll make this like really embarrassing hiccup, and it's uncontrollable, like you can't keep it down. And then I have so much gas, which is a bit of an overshare, but it can be painful. Like you actually get gas pains, you know? So I have to kind of be careful with what I eat. If it's something that makes you gassy, then I will get pains. Oh, and I'm also not napping every day anymore, so I don't need that daily nap, and I'm not feeling as tired, and I need less sleep than I did in the first trimester, which is actually, it's quite nice to not be needing as much sleep. And those are pretty much my first trimester symptoms. So as I don't know if that sounds like a lot to you guys, but for me, compared to what I used to go through, it's nothing. It's like, it's been such a joy. And you know, this video is about symptoms. I'm not telling you also about all the wonderful things, and the wonderful things far outweigh the unpleasant things. So I have to say that in pregnancy, if you get a symptom, it's just kind of like interesting and it's exciting because it's something positive that's happening to you and your body, and there's a baby growing, and like it's so amazing and it's such a joyful time, and it's just so enjoyable, and there's so much to look forward to. So it's definitely doable and bearable for me. I know I speak for myself and for my own experience. I don't want to speak for everybody because obviously everybody is different, but I'm just really, really grateful for this blessing, and I really feel like A few years ago, I wouldn't have thought that I would ever be in this position and having a pregnancy that's going smoothly. And I really hope that that gives hope to people who maybe think that they won't be able to go through with a pregnancy. And you just never know. Miracles happen. There's always hope, and you'll never believe how much change can be made in somebody's life. So I just wanted to let you all know that. And comment below your thoughts on this video. Do you relate to anything? Are you pregnant? What symptoms are you experiencing? Oh, I just remembered one more thing. I think you guys would probably want a bump update. So let me just do that quickly. Here you go. There you go. Usually I have nothing on, like no weight on my stomach, you know? So it's quite a, oh, there you go. You can see it when I turn. It's pretty big. It's pretty big, and that is not bloating. Even if I feel bloated, I usually don't put like on weight there. So it's quite a good bump already. And this is not a first trimester bump update. This is I think I'm 17 weeks now. So yeah, it's not first trimester, but in the first trimester I was already showing. So I'm actually very surprised about that. Don't forget to subscribe so you can follow along in this journey. All of the pregnancy things that I'm going to be discussing on the channel will be wellness and well-being related, overall well-being, you know, mental, emotional, physical, spiritual, for mom and baby. And you know, I live obviously a lifestyle that's conducive to well-being, so I'm very interested in non-toxic baby products and things like that at the moment. I'm doing lots of research on that. So all of those kinds of topics, if you're interested in that, please do subscribe. Comment below if you want me to do any specific videos, if you want to see anything specific from me. I will still be commenting on chronic illness tips and things to do with what is helping me in my lifestyle and what is keeping me well. So I will still be discussing that because that topic is very in depth. And I'm actually putting something together also for the community where you can actually follow it properly, you know, because I know you can't watch like every single video, you know, not everybody has the time to go through every single piece of information and then piece it together and implement it. So I am working on something that gives you structure that's easier to implement in your life. So I'm busy doing that at the moment. So lots more to come. So subscribe to see more, and I'm sending lots of love and good wishes and healing wishes to everybody out there.